But first, the other day I had the pleasure of returning to Oxford University with Tony Abbott to meet a number of current Oxford-based scholars. These are Ramsay Scholars. They're young Australians awarded a Ramsay Scholarship to study at Oxford to, quote, defend Western civilisation. It was a wonderful trip down memory lane for my old boss and a welcome reminder that there are still bright and open-minded, conservative, I have to say, students willing to defend freedom of thought and our Western values.
Hello. Well, what a surprise. G'day, how's it going? Wonderful to be here. I must say, the first few weeks I was here, I basically walked around the city marvelling at all of the footsteps in which I was following, and yeah, it was quite an inspiring thing.
Well, we're in your hands. Will we?
Justin, let's go, yeah.
So thank you very much for coming to Oriel College here. It's a very great honour for us to host you. I'm interested in your understanding of how the experience here at Oxford really formed in more detailed ways the strength of character that takes you on into public life, and how all of us might be intellectual leaders in our field.
I decided very early on that I was never going to just regurgitate something else. Whatever it was I gave back was going to be me, not the expert on this or the expert on that. So I think that was very important academically. I was determined as a student not to simply be a cipher for anyone else, and as a person I was more than happy to speak my mind. I would urge upon all of you, don't be shrinking violets. Don't be wallflowers. Anything else? Comments, questions, observations?
A question about the power of changing one's mind and how an education from Oxford or any other institution in Australia or abroad might facilitate a kind of disputation or a kind of conversation where people feel flexible to be able to change their minds.
Look, very, very important point. We should be prepared to change our mind, but we shouldn't do so for personal convenience or for the benefit of conforming.
It seems to us, well, it seems to me anyway, in the current climate, a lot of the leadership happening at universities seems to be surrounding protest in university. Yes. So I was wondering what your thoughts were on the role of protest in the role of universities generally. Yeah. Obviously, I think people have a right to protest. And if the cause is great enough, I think you have a duty to protest. I don't think you should be passive in the face of oppression. But I also think it's important not to protest in ways which cause unnecessary disruption to other people who may not have the same passion.
I think that there should always be space on campus specifically for that act, whether that be in front of the radcam or whether that be in your own room. And I think that seeing that around town is a crucial part of the university experience.
Look, I don't disagree with that at all. I think one of the problems with the modern world is that we have sometimes lost the art of respectfully disagreeing. So if you and I disagree, it's not just that we have an honest disagreement on a difficult and contentious topic. It's that, you know, you're a good person and I'm a bad person, or vice versa. So I think we these days have a tendency to over-moralise these things, when in most cases the disagreement is not about fundamental human values, it's a difference of judgment about how those fundamental human values might be applied to particular circumstances.
Thanks very much again. It's been great to have you here, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin, a pleasure. And thank you, everyone.
What's it like to be back at Oxford? Do you feel nostalgic?
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. To be in a place of such treasured memories is very invigorating, and the years fall away and you're 21, 22, 23 again. It's magnificent.
You know, a little bit of happenstance that you were a Rhodes Scholar. This is Oriel College. This is the home of Cecil Rhodes, and it was only a couple of years ago a centre of controversy when there was
the Rhodes Must Fall movement.
Correct, the movement to topple statues, and this college resisted and said, we own our history, we own our past, all the very best of our past, but we recognise where we had sort of, you know, trouble.
I think the university bent, but it did not break. I think there was a lot of pressure, internal as well as external, to bow down before that protest movement, but in the end, their best sense prevailed and the statue stays.
And some of these young Australians that you know, Ramsay scholars that you know, gee, they're impressive.
Really impressive people, and it's wonderful to think that Paul's bequest is adding so much to their lives, and hopefully through them continuing to add so much to Australia.
We can get down on the young generation sometimes, can't we, that we think that Australia's best years are behind it, not ahead of it, but not when you see a group like that.
Look, you see poll data, you read the headlines, and yes, it is tempting to despair. And yet invariably, when you talk to young Australians, the mood lifts and you think, look, these are terrific people.
There you go, and I can tell you it is very cold here in Britain. It was freezing there that day in Oxford.